Hopefully, we're going to need you to check to make sure the audio is not too laggy, because it might be pretty laggy. It's on a delay, but we'll see.
I think we might be live.
Oh, yeah. Hello, welcome
Whoa!
to Every Edition, your tabletop RPG talk show. I'm Jesse.
I'm John.
Today, we have a very special YouTube-only, video-only podcast. This is to celebrate our 1 year anniversary. It's a little bit more than a year now.
Yeah.
But we tried, recording stuff for a year. Now we're going to stream for a year. No, I'm kidding. We tried. We're going to do some streaming today. Try it out. See what's up. John, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. This is a little spooky. I'm definitely out of my element, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We
Do it live.
Yeah. The thing I love about this show is that you and I aren't afraid to try new things.
Yeah.
And this is a new thing. It's like the first time we interviewed somebody, we didn't know what we were doing.
It took
and
three times.
We screwed that up. You guys don't know that because we never released the 2 attempts that
that footage still
failed.
exists.
Yeah,
that's good.
But so this is exciting. Thanks for joining us, those of you that are out there in the chatty world,
or in the future.
Yeah, or in the future.
Because this will be uploaded to YouTube, so you can watch it back in the future. Or if you missed it, you can watch it then.
Yeah, and thanks for being with us for this 1 year celebration. We're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff.
We got a ton of stuff.
We're going to be talking about the channel, talking about Every Edition, talking about looking backwards into the year that has passed, and then looking into the future and talking about what we hope to accomplish in the second year, and take a look at our current moment. We're going to do some reviews. What else are we going to do?
We've got news. We've got sort of an update on where Every Edition is on the internet, just sort of in general.
Yeah.
What has been going on with the channel? Like, in the past month, a lot of things have changed and have, I don't know. The channel has become an interesting place on YouTube.
Yeah.
And social media.
We've been growing.
Yeah.
And for surprising reasons, I guess is what, that's sort of the short version, but we'll get into it.
How's the audio sounding? Good?
Everything good? Okay.
We've got a third today. Off screen.
An intern.
An intern, yeah.
Every Edition intern. So thanks to our Every Edition intern. You're doing a great job. Roll real dice. Anyway,
Roll real
back
dice. So, shall we start with a morale check?
Yeah, let's start with a morale check.
All right, what we got?
All right, so first up that was making news this week, Free League. Man, we love to talk about Free League on the show.
Someday, Free League is going to reach out to us.
I think so.
And I'm going to say no. Because we're too big for Free League. No, I would cry.
Is that like Skechers saying no to Kanye?
Yeah. I would cry if they reached out to us and were like, hey, would you review this game for free or whatever?
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah.
They're the
I'll give you 10% off. Sure, I'll take it.
They're the best. They're the best right now.
Yeah.
They're releasing great games, and the games are cool.
Yeah, we still got to play Vaesen.
Yeah, still got to play Vaesen. That's New Year. I think that's my number one. But anyway, new this week from Free League, the Walking Dead universe role-playing game is coming out, and I confirmed on Twitter that it is going to use the Year Zero engine. So none of their press releases or anything like that have said anything about the game system. And so I tweeted at them. I said, hey, does this use the Year Zero engine? And they said, yes, it does. And I took a picture of it and I shared that with out on our social media as proof.
Nice.
This game is like 5 years too late.
Yeah, I don't think I think the show has definitely run its course.
Yeah.
Like, I used to work in a comic shop, and even in the comic shops, people were kind of over The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And it's definitely 5 years too late. But I mean, as a apocalypse zombie type fan, I'm definitely into this, especially coming from Free League.
Yeah.
I'm always Like I remember I bought a atlas, like a huge atlas book of the U.S., like a road atlas.
Oh.
And it used to be a thing for my fiance and I to do like once a week. We would do like fake doomsday prep because it's just like I mean, you don't have like a board game for that, so
Sure.
like you just make up games and whatever. There's definitely people who have like zombie prep,
Oh yeah.
fantasy time,
Yeah.
So putting it into a game and giving it dice is like perfect.
Yeah, and I think if it, I'd love to see the stress mechanic from the Alien RPG make it into another Free League game.
Yeah.
And it seems like it could make sense with the zombie aesthetic.
High stress situations.
Yeah, high stress situations. I was surprised that the Blade Runner RPG wasn't just isn't just going to be a reskin of the Alien RPG, but it has its own mechanics and is different. This one though could, I think, just be a reskin of Alien.
People
RPG.
are starting to get their physical copies of Blade Runner.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, I'm anxious to check that out. And I saw too some people were when they were talking about this Walking Dead universe role playing game announcement from Free League, they were saying, "Oh, great, another like licensed game that nobody is going to be playing in a year." And I in some ways I agree because I feel like this is late. Like
They
this
definitely missed the mark.
I'm more excited about the Blade Runner game, which is 30 years late, or 40 years late.
Blade Runner 2049 came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They announced that there's going to be another Blade Runner movie and
did they?
I think an animated one based on the Black Lotus comic.
Okay.
One of the comics is getting like an adaptation.
Oh, nice.
So like the Blade Runner universe is like
It's starting to
maybe
grow
expanding a little bit.
Yeah, starting to grow.
Definitely. I mean, maybe it was a couple of years late because the 2049 movie is like maybe 4 years old at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, people play Doctor Who, people play Lord of the Rings. It's just sort of like we're seeing a boom of IPs becoming tabletop games because of Dungeons and Dragons' success, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but they're super niche.
Yeah.
Like for Power Rangers, you got to find 5 people who are real into being a Power Ranger, which might be difficult.
Yeah, that whole Essence 20 line is so niche.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna.
I couldn't introduce a new group of players to Dune, like even if they saw the movie
Or the Star Trek game.
Or Star Trek.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of these. Well, whereas The Walking Dead, even though it has its fans, it also would just work as a generic zombie game.
Exactly.
So that, in that sense,
just like Aliens is like generic sci-fi put with this movie monster.
Yeah, it's horror. It's a horror sci-fi game. Yeah. So anyway, Walking Dead Universe RPG just announced from Free League. I also saw, and again, sort of in tandem with this, we're getting that Lord of the Rings 5e game. I think it's like January.
Oh, nice.
So
soon.
Early 2020, 2023.
That'll fit nice into what we were talking about. 2023 being like this was the year of sci-fi games for us to try. I definitely want next year to be fantasy type games for us to try.
Yeah.
And Lord of the Rings is up there.
Yeah.
Because I never got to play the One Ring.
All right. So in other news, Tuesday Night Games then also announced that they are coming out on Cyber Monday with a app for the Mothership role-playing game. So it's going to be a character sheet and a dice roller and a character generator and all that kind of stuff.
Did you say a digital dice roller?
Yeah, I did.
Are you advocating for digital dice?
I am. I can't wait to talk about it. I can't. It's good to preface all all of it. So there's going to be an official Mothership digital dice roller, but more importantly, a character sheet.
Yeah.
A way
that's super smart.
Yeah, a way for pre-gens to come to the table quickly. Like, let's go.
We didn't use it when we did the Jumpstart kit for Cyberpunk Red, but there is an official free-to-use Cyberpunk Red app.
Oh, really? Cool.
It has a good majority of the game and mechanics and character sheets and whatnot for free.
Yeah.
But there are like GM side things that you can pay for, like a one-time access to all like items and characters and NPCs and things like that. And it's like surprisingly clean. It doesn't ever bug out or break.
Cool.
And it looks good.
No, I'll tell you what. Digital character sheets. Since we're talking about it,
Yeah.
If it gets you to the game faster and breaks down a barrier, great. I think my only sort of asterisk or caveat with that would be, I do worry that digital character sheets that kind of do everything for you, that you don't actually learn the rules of the game.
Yeah, like if you click sword and it does your damage and your roll for you, and then you go to the table and you're like, oh, well, I can't click my character sheet.
Right.
What dice do I roll?
Yeah, so I think it in some ways it prevents people from actually learning the game, so in the short term it's great. It'll bring somebody to the table and they can start playing. But in the long run, if you're relying on the technology to play, that doesn't feel good to me.
It could be a way to get into the game further. Like if you have somebody that is pretty hesitant or pretty against tabletop games, you give them the most amount of tools to get into the game easy, and then if they like it, then they'll seek out the rules and you can help them a little bit more.
Everything okay, intern?
The mics are a little, the video is behind the mics.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
okay. But
We know that the audio is going to be desynced because the camera that we use, a little behind the scenes, the camera that we use is a 4K Logitech camera, and that uses a lot of CPU, so the microphones are just going to be behind.
Is it on the? Sorry, everybody, taking a little station break here. Is it actually? It's not synced when you're watching it.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything we can do about that?
I mean, it's going to be trial and error.
Okay.
I can try to take off the lag. Is the audio happening before or after our mouths?
After.
After? Okay. Hang on one
Hold
second.
on, everybody. We're
I don't
gonna
know if
try
I
to.
can- I should be able to change this. Let me try without lag. Okay.
Is that better?
Update us in a couple minutes.
Is that better?
Yeah, the stream's behind a little bit.
How's it doing now?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Well, we'll keep going.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for
the-
sticking with us.
The audio's still there. It's just
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right. So
So on
Yeah.
Cyber Monday, on the topic of Cyber
Yeah,
Monday
Cyber Monday.
and Black Friday, obviously as we get into the holiday season, we're going to see a lot of sales and new things come out. I had not really thought about digital products on drive-through RPG or DM's Guild being a good place for sales to happen for Cyber Monday and Black Friday. So I'd say keep an eye on maybe your favorite creators on both of those to see if they maybe say something on social media like, hey, this weekend we're doing 10% off my entire library. Could be a good time to pick up a bunch of PDFs.
yeah, Exalted Funeral usually has a pretty banging Black Friday sale if you're looking for online distributors. And I think they announced what they usually they have a nice percentage off, and then they also have some doorbusters or whatever where they have limited stuff. Last year the big sale item was you could get Old School Essentials, the Player's Tome, for $11.
Oh,
which was
whoa.
amazing. And that's because they were phasing out that book right in the line. But still, it looks like they still have some copies. I'm wondering if they're going to do that sale again. So
Deep discount.
if you're looking for Old School Essential stuff, keep an eye on Exalted Funeral on Black Friday. See if they don't run that sale again. That was incredible.
So, Goodman Games.
Yeah, Goodman Games.
What are they doing?
Goodman Games has their Black Friday sales have actually already started. They're doing Haul-idays. Haul, Haul, right? Haul-idays. So they're doing 40% off their back catalog of stuff. It doesn't count for new releases, but their back catalog of stuff. And if you spend $100, it's free shipping. And in addition to that, right now you can get a copy of Danger in the Air, which was the free role-playing game
talked
day.
about that,
Yeah, which was the free role-playing game day release. And you can get a free copy of the Three Wizard Conundrum.
For 5th edition.
Which is their 5th edition adventure for free, right? So definitely consider picking those up. They're, you spend any money and then find those in the store and you can add them for free.
Nice.
So I hit, what did I definitely already took advantage of the sale. There was one Mutant Crawl Classics cover that I didn't have. And so I splurged on that.
Gotta have all the covers.
Gotta have all the covers. And then I added another, because I could, I added another copy of each of those free modules. Because why not?
Yeah, why not? There's limited.
Yeah, limited release, and once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
So that's a good, that's a good deal. 40% off their back catalog, free shipping at $100, and there are 2 free modules in addition to that that are a little stealthy underneath there.
Good time to pick up any amount of tabletop stuff for yourself or for somebody for the holiday.
Yeah.
Sort of as we get into the holiday season, I'm sure we'll see more of that.
Yeah. And finally, then there's one more Black Friday or online sale to talk about here, and that is Troll Lord Games, and they have a pretty awesome $10 hardcover sale going on.
They're Castles and Crusades and Sword and Sorcery.
No, they're Castles and Crusades. They're the World of Aird is their world.
Okay, yeah.
And they have some 5th edition.
Oh, they have
Aird books.
Okay.
There's I think an Indiegogo right now for Amazing Adventures, which is their like pulp and superhero and everything that's not fantasy kind of GURPS.
Sure.
Generic role-playing system that also uses the Siege engine, which is what powers their all of their games.
Yeah.
If you have a prime attribute, you're rolling against a difficulty number of 12, and if it's not a prime attribute, you're rolling against a difficulty number of 18. And so those are that's the Siege engine. But if you're new to Troll Lord Games, if you're new to Castles and Crusades, now's a great time to jump in. $10 hardcovers. And I can sweeten the pot even more, ladies and gentlemen. There's a code that you can use, COMEBACK10, and it'll give you an additional 10% off. So go to Troll Lord Games, fill up your basket with lots of $10 hardcovers. That includes at least 3 or 4 books for 5th edition, if you're looking for a World of Aird support. Their Player's Guide, their Monsters and Treasure book for 5th edition, all that. And then if you use code COMEBACK10, you can get an additional 10% off.
It's pretty good. $9 hardbacks.
No, yeah. Pretty sweet. You do pay for shipping, but it's not bad. And especially if you're, if you're already getting a $10 hardcover and you're getting the 10% off, it's cool.
Yeah, you can expect to pay that.
Yeah. Intern.
How
is
doing?
it?
Update.
It's still like a little.
It's still a little laggy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the video is faster than the audio, or
Yeah, the video is faster.
the video's faster? I have no way of changing that.
So the video goes
No,
up.
the audio is faster.
The audio's faster.
Yes.
Okay. So we can change that.
Okay.
That we can change.
All right. Station break again.
Is it like worse or better than it was before?
It's like the same.
It's like the same. It's like the same.
That's not a good sign. Okay. We'll try that.
So, intern, if you could give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, then if it's better or worse or the same.
Yeah, this is our first time live streaming. This is my first time live streaming to YouTube. Twitch is
Is it?
Yeah, it's better.
Is it
Better?
fixed?
it might not be exact.
What's it saying in the chats?
It's in sync now? Okay, cool. This is our first time streaming on YouTube. I'm familiar with Twitch. YouTube has a completely different system. We're also using a different camera than I'm used to.
I'm also old.
It's it's like different than our recording setup even. So like things are just weird.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
And
we'll
thanks whoever's out there for letting us know.
So our shorts from this are going to look really weird, but it'll be fine.
Well, no, I'll just from this point on is the potential for making shorts, right?
We've talked about some juicy things.
Can't plug anything.
We could talk about the sales and things.
Go back. No, let's keep moving forward.
All right.
We owe it to whoever's out there.
So,
All right.
we said at the top of the episode that we were going to go back and sort of give, as a celebration of a year of every edition, we're going to sort of reintroduce ourselves.
Yeah, we did it in the very first episode.
Yeah.
Which, it's been a year. So
It's been like, I think I counted it was like 31 episodes or 32.
Is that right?
That's there's only 27 released, but there were still like times where we recorded multiple times.
Yeah.
And just like stuff doesn't cut right or whatever, can't release it. So it's been a long time.
It's been a long time. So we'll reintroduce ourselves. So
Yes.
I'm John.
Hi, John.
Hi. Great to be here. So my role in this is the veteran player, right? The old guy who has a lot of experience with a lot of different games and grew up with Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing games. And this has been my number one go-to hobby for my entire life. I've played every edition of the game except for 4th edition. Just to be
You've never played?
I've never played, and I really would like to be honest with you. So if anybody out there has a 4th edition game going, I would love to play. And actually there is some, especially as we get closer to the next iteration, I'm already starting to see a little bit of nostalgia for 4th edition.
Sure.
Like people being like, my first edition was 4th edition. And then I switched to 5 and it was, whatever. And so there's going to be nostalgia for 4th. But so
Who would have thought?
I played them all. I never played 4th. At that time, I switched to Pathfinder.
Oh, sure.
So basically, it was kept going with 3.5.
3.5.
The 3.5. And right now, just in terms of I feel like it's a similar moment as a lover of Dungeons and Dragons. It's a similar moment to that moment when I switched to Pathfinder. For me, anyway, I really love the OSR. I really love the old school Renaissance and old school revival, whatever you want to call it. I am super excited to play Dungeon Crawl Classics at conventions. I love and appreciate Castles and Crusades. And I think Old School Essentials is the bomb. Like
it's like the backbone of that entire community.
Yeah. So
like it's so good.
It's so good. So I'm really excited about the OSR, and it's basically, it feels kind of like that sort of Pathfinder thing. Like you made a little bit of an off ramp. You're still playing fantasy role playing, and it's still based on the Dungeons and Dragons property, but it's not necessarily put out by Wizards of the Coast or TSR or whatever. So that's me. I love that. What was the comment?
So someone said in the chat, their only time playing 4th edition was when their character was killed. It's the only time their character was killed, so they're biased, which I can appreciate.
So they don't like 4th edition because their character died?
A DM who doesn't, I don't like actively try to kill people or not kill people.
Yeah.
But like it's actually, if you're playing the game like in a fun way, productive way, especially when people are paying you, you'd like try not to have situations where people get killed, or at least you hope that the players are smart enough to get out of the situations that you make. So dying, especially in a character that you invest in and like spend time creating, and then that character dying can feel kind of rough. And is almost never a good thing. So I totally get that. I think I played 4th edition once. I played 3.5 a bunch. played 4th edition once, but I don't remember much from that time. So
Person saying it was also their first session. Hey, I figured out how to get the chat on my
Nice.
phone. So now I'm like,
congrats.
It's how far are we into this are we? And
Like
we're
30
finally,
minutes.
Yeah. I swear it'll be the live stream 2 will be like,
Electric
it'll be
Boogaloo.
like Empire Strikes Back level of goodness.
Are you gonna show up in costume as like Han Solo or something?
Yeah, well, that sounds good. That sounds good. All right, so that's me. So I'm the old guy. I love the OSR. I still play mostly 5th edition though. I mean, just to be totally honest, I'm the sort of like grass is greener. Like I'm looking over at the OSR and I'm like, oh, I wish I was doing that more often. So I'm still picking up the books and I'm still reading the books and I'm still, I've run Castles and Crusades for my family. I've run Old School Essentials for my family. I've run Dungeon Crawl Classics for my family.
Mm-hmm.
So I still, I would say the other area of passion I have in the hobby is I love Hero Quest. And I am so jazzed that Hero Quest is back in print and it's great. And
A bunch of third-party stuff coming out.
yeah, and I'm plugged into to the third-party community, and they've embraced every edition.
Yeah.
And so there is going to be, I'd say in year 2, there's going to be a little bit of a Hero Quest lean every once in a while, just because I've made some connections with some folk, and and it's so much fun. So that's me. Jesse, who are you?
I'm Jesse.
Whoa!
So if John's the old guy, I'm the new guy. So a majority of my tabletop experience has been in 5th edition. I've been playing for I guess it's almost 10 years now.
Yeah.
It came out in 2013, or somewhere around there. So maybe
2014.
like 8 or 9 years in 5th edition. I've been DMing for 90% of that, and DMing for hire for, God, like 3 years now, almost 4.
It was before the pandemic.
Yeah, it was before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I guess my perspective is just mainly DM or GM focused on 5th edition and sort of the new person in the room to all of these other games. Like every edition has really been an exploration into a lot of these games and a lot of these books that we talk about. For me, for the first time, I mean, sometimes it's the first time for both of us, but you'll present me with a book like, hey, here's a Dungeon Crawl Classics book, and be like, this is what Dungeon Crawl Classics is, and then we'll like play it, or I'll read through the book. So it's really me branching out of 5th edition and sort of like every now and then on like the social medias for Dungeons and Dragons, a meme gets shared that's like a 5th edition player saying, I'm never going to play anything other than 5th edition, and they like turn around right before like a doorway, and through the doorway is like a million different RPGs and a bunch of people having fun, and it's sort of typical for Dungeons and Dragons players to like not ever play anything else.
Right.
And before starting every edition, I really hadn't played much else besides maybe Starfinder a couple times, or Pathfinder a couple times too. So all of these sort of new games like Old School Essentials or Dungeon Crawl Classics, or coming up maybe Morkborg or anything like that, it's all new to me, and I try to take from my knowledge of 5th edition and its culture to these games, and I try to take those games and what they can offer to my groups and my perspective on GMing and DMing, and try to just improve everybody's overall experience in the tabletop space.
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been a lot of reading. I don't think I've read so many books. Like I don't read every book like cover to cover. I don't think anybody. I mean, if you get a new D&D book, every time there's a new D&D book and read it cover to cover, I applaud you. I can't do it. But it has been a lot of reading. But it's been really fun, and I've definitely felt like my DM style change and sort of slightly warp, and I've definitely felt like influences from other games seep into like what kind of game I want to create and what kind of podcast I want to create.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you make sure I'm not just the old man yelling at a cloud.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You keep us plugged in with what the kids are up to these days. Right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Although you're getting like deeper into social media than kind of I am.
It's true. Yeah. So the next question here is what's your role in producing every edition? So I'm actually even though I'm like the guy who like has trouble with tech. I'm the most active of the two of us on our social media accounts.
Yeah.
So if you're following us on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or now Mastodon, that's me. And I try to post, things of general interest, really just, sort of like fueled by my raging addiction to buying and collecting role-playing books.
So I was thinking earlier today, there was at the beginning, just sort of like to get us started on Twitter or whatever. I think it was Twitter. We were doing a like A to Z through the encyclopedia of magic items.
I didn't make it very far.
Well, I mean, it was a million items, so like I don't.
Yeah, so it's this one.
Oh, Encyclopedia Magica.
Yeah, so
there's 4 volumes.
The second edition Encyclopedia Magica, which is a fantastic 4-volume set. It's still useful, even if you're not playing second edition. Like it's just awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so I started tweeting a magic item, like a review of each of the magic items, and I think I made it through like Anchors or something like that.
Yeah, definitely. I think still in the A's.
Yeah, I made it through Anchors. I still have my bookmark. And then I stopped doing that because I realized Twitter doesn't really work like that. Like I was sort of putting in a lot of effort and a lot of work for nothing.
Yeah.
So if you go back on Twitter and you look for hashtag every edition encyclopedia, you can see my review of magic items A through Anchor. But I gave up on that because it was a lot of work and not a lot of return.
Yeah, a lot of. I think this year has been, especially from what you've said to me, very much experimental on the various social media platforms that you sort of run.
Yeah, and figuring out what the feel is of each one, right? Yeah. So Twitter, it is kind of like shouting into a void. It feels like sometimes. And basically, there's if you're out there and you want to start a podcast or a live stream or a YouTube channel or whatever that's around tabletop role playing games, there's a rhythm to tabletop role playing Twitter. And so it starts with Wednesday is Work in Progress Wednesday. Thursday is TTRPG Rising Thursday. Friday is Follower Friday. And then Saturday is Self-Promo Saturday. And that's basically it. That is most of tabletop role-playing Twitter. So outside of so I'm serious. So outside of participating in those, and you can be a very active participant in those.
Yeah.
But that's what it is. Like
there's not really much discussion happening unless it's like an announcement.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
It's hard.
It's definitely a different space.
Conversely, though, right? Every single sponsor that we've gotten, and by the way, we are super lucky. I mean,
oh my God, yeah.
We've had 5 sponsors.
Yeah.
Right? 5 of our episodes have been
and returning.
Yeah, and people returning to sponsor and stuff, and we're small. Like but
I don't know what I'm doing.
but it's great, and it really does help us keep moving forward. But every single one of those people that's wanted to sponsor an episode, that's actually come from Twitter. It comes from I include a little tagline in one of those days, whether Work in Progress Wednesday, TTRPG Rising Thursday, Follow Friday, and Self-Promo Saturday. Whenever I send something out, I include a little line like, hey, if you want to sponsor an episode, get in touch.
Yeah.
And people do. If you're a creator out there that is creating modules or creating adventures or supplements or something like that, plug into that 4 days worth of Twitter as a great way to get your stuff out there.
Yeah.
Because it does make you some business connections. It just feels
a little robot-y.
Yeah, and a little empty. Like
yeah.
It's not as satisfying as some of the other social medias.
Sure.
So that's me. So I'm the social media guy. Facebook is a little bit more personal, right? In
Yeah, you
terms
got
of
like groups and
what's
actual
going on there.
discussions.
Yep. And I try to post. I joined. I had every edition join as many groups as I could that have to do with role playing, and then actually have tailored discussions about those games. And if we're going to be talking about a game on the show, I'll go to the Facebook group first,
See what's going on.
Yeah, get involved in some conversations and stuff. Instagram is mostly just pictures of stuff from the collection.
It's a picture. Social media.
And Mastodon is brand new, and it seems like Twitter's like friendly, like stepbrother or something.
Okay.
So it's much more in-depth conversations and much nicer place.
Yeah, it seems a little less like sort of echoey
So
and a little nicer.
yeah. So that's my job. That's my role in every edition.
So I take care of because I have a background in streaming and tech stuff. I try to make sure that the tech is up to snuff. The live stream is as good as we can get it. The recordings are as good as we can get it. The interviews are smooth. The microphones are working. All that stuff I edit and upload to both the audio only Spotify and Apple Podcast version of the podcast. Shout outs to listeners who will not be getting this episode, which we can talk about in a bit. There's going to be something special. So this is a special, video only. We're going to do a special audio only in the future. And that's kind of it. Like I make sure all the recording's good, the footage is safe, and I edit. And I feel like, I don't know, editing's really fun. It can be like very tedious and very frustrating, but it's still fun. Although I'm notoriously bad at deadlines, so it's a bit rough. It's a bit rough. Sometimes there's like maybe 3 or 4 audio podcasts behind, and then they just all upload on one day, and that's because I, forgot or too busy.
Well, I think at least one person in the live chat is definitely a audio fan, and the podcast version of the show that's on Spotify and Apple Podcast is slightly different, and actually a little bit enhanced, right? Versus the video, which you get to see our ugly mugs
and what we're talking about.
Yeah, and it's obviously you got visuals and stuff like that of what we're talking about and everything. But if you've never listened to the show as a podcast on Spotify or Apple, do it, because we have music cues for each of the sections. So like each, random encounter, morale check, loot the body, all that stuff. We have an opening theme and a closing theme, all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty good podcast.
Yeah, as a video upload, it's not that much effort beyond cutting things that don't need to be in the final product.
Right.
The audio is a bit more effort because we're putting a few more bells and whistles.
The trick is, though, it's more exciting to put out a video because YouTube is gamified.
Yes.
So like we want to get subscribers and views and like, we like talk about that kind of stuff.
And we're a little vain.
And it's fun. Yeah, it's fun. Whereas like the podcast, if you were to say like, so which one's better? I would say the podcast is better, but it's less exciting.
Yeah.
As a creator.
We're not emoting.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't see us emote.
Yeah. Well, and you don't I can't see the behind the scenes numbers as well as I can see YouTube.
The analytics
stuff.
for that are kind of poor compared to YouTube.
The analytics aren't as good. But we seem to have a good following on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and we've got a good following on YouTube. So thanks.
Yes. Like we literally couldn't do it without people
really appreciate
actually watch, which is kind of weird. Like, you see maybe a video might hit 50 views or 100 views, and it's like maybe compared to other creators that are out there, like popular, that YouTube's pushing, that might not seem like a big number, but like 50 or 100 people is a lot of people. Like it's still sort of mind-boggling.
No, it's true. So we got a comment: be proud YouTube grifters. You want
for sure.
You want views. You want clicks and interactions. It's true.
I mean,
true.
look at our thumbnails.
Yeah, well,
I got a comment on one of our thumbnails
Yeah.
the other day. Someone was like, "Oh, come on, what's with the thumbnails?" And I'm like, "Well, we got to do what we got to do, you know?"
well, yeah. So the looking backwards, right, on the past year, you can see the show evolve. That's one of the things I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Nothing's changed,
and
really, like, of the old stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You can see the change.
You can see the changes happen, and we're learning as we're doing it. And so there is this like iterative process that's very much on display and very rough, and then becoming increasingly polished, right?
Yeah.
Totally iterative. This is our first live stream, so guess what? The first half hour is junk, right? But like
the second live stream's going to be better, and
yeah.
then like the 100th is going to be infinitely better.
Yeah,
They're just
and we'll
gonna
have
keep
4 interns instead of just 1 over here.
never have any actual hired employees.
But then here's the thing about live. I forget where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Where was I going with that?
I don't know. I mean, we're talking about iterations of every edition, and like you can. I've recently gone back, and you know, as we go back to like edit the descriptions and things like that, you can kind of see, you know, how far we've come in a year, and how much, like, even just our like tech has changed, or how we handle ourselves in the podcast. We've gotten sort of more comfortable.
No, So you were talking about the thumbnails.
Oh yeah.
They have gotten more clickbaity.
Oh my God, yeah.
So we went from no thumbnail to what I call the Power Ranger thumbnail.
Oh,
because
colors and
because it has colors, right? It's
I
kinda
like those.
like the Rangers, right?
Neon.
And then from that, then the new style is this like torn center.
Yeah.
Which,
It's clickbaity.
I'm doing more clickbaity stuff. So I do the thumbnails too.
Yeah.
And they're a little bit more clickbaity. Like the newest one is AI art going to destroy tabletop role playing? Well, of course it's not. That's stupid.
The world is falling.
Right.
Click this video, please.
But it's it's a sensational.
Yeah.
It's a sensational thing to get a click.
That's just how YouTube works.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I mean, we talked about, we're like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, and it works.
Yeah.
So
we can't not do it.
like, yeah. There
It's
it is.
like we're giving ourselves a handicap for no reason.
So just know that we know it's dumb. Like, that's right. And
That's like everything that I like, though.
Yeah.
Like, I unironically, this is totally off topic. I unironically like Fast and the Furious, like the movies.
yeah.
And they're horrid. They are. I'm sorry if you're watching and you like genuinely like them. I really like them too, but I like them because they're bad.
Yeah.
Sort of like Evil Dead. You know, these like really sort of campy
Well,
things.
no, that's
like,
art. That's
I mean, it is art.
that's fine. That's fine
It's
art.
fine art.
That's
Okay. But like, you know, we get it. The thumbnails are.
Yeah.
I can't remember who mentioned the thumbnails to me, but I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
And if it wasn't working, then go back.
And you know, as we learn and try these things out, there's going to be a different one. We're going to try new things.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So what's the mission statement or the purpose of the show? Like what's every edition all about?
Every edition. So I think like that to me means trying to get as many different games or ideas or philosophies from various games in front of people that might not have considered these games. Like, so, which, you know, sort of aligns with how I used to feel.
Yeah.
Like, I used to be a D&D 5th edition only player. And then I sort of like, you know, as I started to try new games, I started to see like, yeah, you can really sort of dive into this hobby and get a lot more out of it and more out of yourself by playing a bunch of different games and meeting new people who only play those games and whatnot.
Yeah.
So introducing a lot of these things to new people is sort of my goal.
Introducing people to new games. So here's the thing, and I want our listeners and people that watch the show and listen to the show and stuff to push back. I don't want to dump on 5th edition.
Yeah.
What I want to do is play the best game, period. Like, and to me that means like trying lots of different games. It also means like being honest when a crappy 5th edition product comes out. Yeah, right. And like giving an honest review.
Yeah.
And like we praised Wizards for Fizban's Treasury of Dragons.
My God, yeah.
Because that book is good. That book is good. It's got everything you want, whether you're a DM or a player. But we dumped on, Strixhaven and Spelljammer. And I think rightly so. And I don't want that to be interpreted as, well, you're dumping on 5th edition. No, I actually think 5th edition is an elegant game. It's a great game. It's a fun game. It's the game I play the most. But I do have that like little bit of like, like what's going on over there? Kind of like, like the grass is always greener on the other side. I'm sure if I was playing Dungeon Crawl Classics all the time, I would probably then be looking at some other game and being like, ooh, I wish I was playing that. So yeah, to me, the every edition is a celebration of tabletop role-playing games. It's about uplifting the hobby, getting people to hear about new games and realize that this is the world's greatest hobby.
And roll some dice. Real dice.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I think every edition really, we had gone through a bunch of different names of what we wanted to name the podcast, and every edition really sort of solidifies it, which is why we include a Loot the Body section in all of our videos. We want to try to showcase new books and new things and old stuff that we like or maybe want to just review. And I at least try to be as genuine as I can with, both good and bad. I don't ever want to like completely dump on something. Always try to find a little bit of good.
Yeah.
But, I think being honest about our hobby is the best way to improve it and bring new people in.
So now would be a good time if you have any, if you have any games or topics that you want us to explore in future episodes, let us know in the comments. We're always open to the suggestions and ideas of our audience, and always every episode we're encouraging people to reach out to us and communicate with us. I'm always, writing back to anybody that sends us a note. We've gotten some very nice notes from people during this past year, just saying like, hey, you're a companion on my dog walk.
Yeah.
Or I think one of our biggest fans is, which blows my mind, right, is over in the UK.
Yeah.
So it's the global analytics is sort of fun to look at and see. Hey, we've got fans all over the world, people that are watching the show,
and they have a different sphere of what games are popular, and
right.
So they might want to hear a game be talked about or reviewed. So
let us know if there's any tabletop role playing topics that you want us to cover, or if there are any particular games that you want us to review. I did get a request for the Transformers role playing game.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm going to do that.
we could talk about it in a Loot the Body, right? We could not go in depth. So our random encounters are the place where we can really dive into something, a topic. Loot the Bodies are pretty surface level most of the time. So we could do that with Transformers. Or we could maybe make that an Essence 20 day.
An Essence 20 focus.
And we just talk about the various Essence 20s.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they all would warrant their own.
When the My Little Pony one comes out, then of course I want to bring that to the table. But,
maybe.
So let us know if you have any topics you want us to cover, or games you want us to review, or anything like that. Drop a comment, and thanks.
So we have something else that we could talk about for every edition.
Oh, hold on, we got a comment here.
Death in Space. Do you own that? If there's a game,
let's go.
John owns it.
So I actually was thinking about.
Is that OSE?
What's that?
The Old School Essentials?
Oh no! It's Free League.
Oh.
It's it's like Mothership Morkborg.
Okay. In that vein.
Yeah. So it's horror. It's space horror. No, I'm hoping to, and thank you very much for recommending that. That's a great idea for the Loot the Body, and I have it, and we should.
Okay.
So
Yeah. That's on the list.
done. It just made the list. Thank you. The thing I was kind of waiting to do that one for when Mothership comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for that game to come out.
How long's it been? It's been like 2 years.
It seems like it's been forever.
Maybe more.
I mean, I have the zine,
Yeah.
right? But I want the finished first edition Mothership. Do a full Loot the Body on it, and then I think it'd be interesting to do a comparison with Death in Space, and kind of talk about the two in tandem with each other. But yeah, so thanks for that suggestion. Definitely, it's going right to the top of the pile. So good to go. No, I do. I have a crippling addiction. It's really it's a problem.
I'm addicted to alt covers. Like I try to get, if there's a book coming, I try my best to get the alt cover. I don't need every cover.
Yeah.
But the special edition stuff, I'm a sucker for.
So why don't you use that to segue to your amazing?
Do you want to talk about
Ouroboros? Yeah.
So, just the other day, I received a very heavy package.
Very heavy package.
This is insane. So I've talked about it a couple times on the show. I backed on Kickstarter. Maybe March of 2021, somewhere around there.
Mm-hmm.
A game called Auroboros, which is a 5th edition supplement. It's its own world, its own setting,
Mm-hmm.
just within the confines of 5th edition. It's made by Chris Metzen, who is or was the main story and sort of lore builder and world builder for Blizzard Entertainment. He sort of left the company like right as Activision bought them, and when the company went down the drain. So he's responsible for like World of Warcraft and Warcraft lore, StarCraft, Diablo, Overwatch. He's responsible for like the major heavy hitting lore stuff. He's a fantastic storyteller, and when he announced that he was doing this book, I said that when the Kickstarter started, I would back it at the highest tier. And day one, I did, and finally, it's here.
Let's go.
I've had the PDF for like a year now.
Okay.
But I've been waiting. I opened it and like scrolled through to look through some of like the special stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the full thing. So beyond the DM screen that you see,
Oh yeah, we've got.
this is what came in the mail.
Boom.
This is.
Show him that spine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look at that.
So
It's
we've
gorgeous.
got this gigantic. What do they call it? Slipcase?
Yep.
Of various books, and there's so it came with the DM screen. It came with a dry erase cardboard map of the region that this game takes place in. It comes with a world book. It comes with a novel that is written in the world. That's like RPG book size and formatted like an RPG book. It's like easy to read and kind of like that. The page, oh my god, it has like what are these called? Like the tassel bookmarks, which are really nice. Like if you're making a game and you're on Kickstarter, one of your stretch goals has to be making one of these like the little tassels that come
the
in.
ribbon.
Yeah. The bookmark. The pages are gold foiled. This is really nice. The art inside's really good. It's got this like faux leather look to it. It's fantastic, and it's huge. It's like almost 400 pages, and my name's in it.
Well, and I was joking. The great thing about this is Dungeons and Dragons. Hop in a Spelljammer ship.
Yeah,
find a portal. Like you can,
and you're right there.
You can visit other worlds.
Yeah.
So it's a great thing. I also I have coming because you can get Auroboros right now. Sorry, wallets out there. You can get Auroboros on Amazon right now too. So I ordered a copy of the core book, and we're definitely going to do a loot the body with a little bit more in depth on Auroboros and on the Worldbook.
So the main thing that they introduce into 5th edition is this sort of magical tattoo system.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, it's sort of a give and take type system. You're branded with these tattoos, and they sort of evolve as you level up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like not a get out of jail free thing, but like if you reach to that magic and use it, there's a price to pay.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's only a little bit of magic, it's not that big of a price. Maybe you get a headache or something like that. It's not like a monetary price. It's like a physical price.
Okay.
But as you level up and this magic gets more powerful, in order to cast a spell using it, it might be a devastating spell that might kill the boss in one shot, but you're going to sacrifice your arm. And you're not going to be able to ever do that spell again. Like this magic system has a very interesting consequence system, which I appreciate. And
Cool.
the DM screen is actually like really, really good and much better than like kind of any 5th edition one that I've ever used, because it's got conditions on one page, which is like it's like seemingly an innocuous thing to have, but if you have all of the conditions right there in front of you, easy. It's got a DC difficulty scale, just in case you need it as a DM. Cool. It's got random encounters. Cool. This DM screen's like miles better than any D&D one.
Yeah. Well, I'm grateful you got, because you backed it at the level you did or when you did, you got 2 DM screens, so you gave me one.
Yeah. I didn't expect that, but so I also got this like Ouroboros coin for being a day 1 backer, which is cool.
A D2.
A D2, yeah. Every DM should have a coin.
Yeah.
And then like a small deck of cards that are like items and magic spells.
Cool.
Which is really cool. And then of course a dice set. That's
let me see the dice.
it's a 7 set plus a bunch of extra D6s.
Oh, nice. And it looks like the 6 is the Ouroboros symbol.
Yeah, like the snake eating itself.
The high number.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's fantastic. I can't wait to do this for Loot the Body. I can't wait to try to introduce some of these aspects to my D&D games. I think it comes with a small one shot. I'm not entirely sure in the Worldbook. But if it doesn't, they're going to continue to make stuff for this world. So
And there's probably digital support, right?
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, no, cool.
Yeah, this was very exciting. People were starting to get theirs in, and I was like, where's mine?
That's where I am right now. I don't know if anybody out there watching this was a backer of the latest Old School Essentials, but I'm starting to see online all these people opening their boxes and seeing this, and I'm like, where's mine? When am I going to get my Old School Essentials?
Is the Walking? I meant to ask this.
What?
Is the Walking Dead Free League going to be a Kickstarter?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I figured.
Yeah, coming. I think spring 2023.
Okay, sure.
Yep. So let's. We've talked enough about the show. I think let's skip the updates and save that for the end.
Okay.
Why don't we get into the shorts and the virtual dice? You ready?
Sure.
What the heck?
Sure.
So the latest experiment that has blown up is us experimenting with YouTube Shorts.
So
Yeah.
I also want to preface this with on my personal like Twitch stuff.
Yep.
I also have a TikTok, so my experience here comes from TikTok.
Okay.
And my TikTok has a couple times gone what you would consider viral.
Okay.
And I have experience with uploading and the algorithms on TikTok. So we've tried to sort of translate that to shorts.
Right. And it's fun. So we've only been doing shorts, I think, for
Like a month.
3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, like a month. Yeah, like 4 weeks, I guess, at this point. And releasing about for the first month, I was releasing about one a day.
Yeah,
at
or
least.
sometimes more.
Yeah, or sometimes more, especially to kind of like build a foundation. And now for the past week, we've reached a point where like you just kind of sit back and we're getting 1,000 views an hour.
Yeah.
which
various
which to
shorts.
me blows my mind.
That's
right?
a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. And the thing about YouTube Shorts that I would encourage anybody that's got a YouTube channel to be experimenting with Shorts, because it helps with your number of views.
Yep.
But it also, like, it's exploded our subscriber base in a very short amount of time. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, we
So,
just hit 100 subscribers. We made a new goal on one of the episodes, maybe in like the early 20s of the episodes. We were like, our new goal's 1,000 subs. Let's go, road to 1,000 subs.
and we were laughing about it.
Yeah, we were like, this is never gonna happen. And then now we're sitting at almost 900, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, if it continues, hopefully we have good news to report that we hit 1,000 subs next week. I mean, that's
That's
how
insane.
That's how quickly it's going and how well things are going. A lot of the attention has been on one particular short, and it's been the short that is titled "Virtual Dice versus Real Dice." And one of the things that I realized early on when creating a short is that you have 3 different opportunities to communicate something, right? So you have the video itself.
Yep.
You have whatever you give as a title for the video, and then you have whatever kind of like banner you put on the video, like
graphic.
overlay, graphic, or whatever, right? And so those are your 3 opportunities to communicate something. And you should take advantage of the fact that you have 3 opportunities to communicate different things. So for this particular one, the title is, again, sort of clickbaity, like, virtual dice versus real dice, right? And
yeah, it seems very right.
The graphic is just say no to digital dice, right? So it's real oh, is there something there?
Yeah, this person found us because of that.
Oh, found you guys because of
1-8.
that short. I went, yeah, great. Yeah. So thanks.
Shorts are like there's a YouTube released a number of people who actively use shorts every day.
Yeah.
And it's an astronomical number.
Yeah. Oh, it's been awesome for the channel. It's been great for the channel. If you're on YouTube and you're not making shorts, you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
Like it's that good. But anyway, so you've got the title is Just Say No, right? Inspired by Nancy Reagan, and like, it's the opportunity to equate digital dice to doing drugs, right? And all that. Like I know what I'm doing. Like I'm very conscious of all this stuff when I'm creating things and putting it out there. But so the short itself is a story, and I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of reshare the story.
You can elaborate,
but with a lot more detail, right? So my son and his friends, they go to a local cafe. It's a bubble tea and coffee kind of place.
Yep.
And once a month they sponsor a Dungeons and Dragons night. And there's a bunch of volunteer DMs that run a couple tables. And they do charge admission, so it's $5 admission.
Yep.
And that sort of allows them to stay open for a couple hours longer than they normally would. It's after it takes place a little bit after hours.
Mm-hmm.
And for the price of your admission, you also get dice. Like you can get a cheap set of 7 dice. And they don't really advertise that. They just say, you don't need to, we'll supply you with everything.
Yeah.
What they say. $5 will supply you with everything. And they have a basket that has sets of dice, and you're welcome to help yourself. And so the first time we went, we're learning the ropes and figuring things out and how it works and stuff. And we didn't realize that they would give dice.
Yep.
Right. And so my son and his friends sit down, and they have their character sheets on iPads, and they were just, sort of playing the game. And while they were doing that, I'm kind of scoping out the cafe and learning about it. And I said, oh, they've got, you get dice included with your entry fee. How awesome is that? And so I grabbed a set of dice for all the guys, and I gave them all a set of dice because they basically paid for them, right? And I said, oh, quit using the dumb digital dice, and here's the roll real dice. And that's basically the whole story. Like,
yeah.
There's not much more
deeper than that.
It's not deeper than that, or not much more to it. But the thing about shorts is it is sensational, right? So it's gonna, what makes a good short is when Jesse freaks out about something, right? And like emotes.
Yeah, make some weird face.
Right. Most of the time, we're pretty calm and we're just having a conversation about.
I try my best not to move because I know how jarring it is when you're editing.
Yeah.
So like I don't want a weird cut to happen and like we just like robot to a different
Right.
frame.
No.
So I try not to move as much. But when something exciting happens, that's where the short lives.
And so the shorts end up being the most sensational, the most emoting, right, stuff. And in all honesty, like, they do tend to track to the negative, is what I noticed, right? So we tend to emote more if we're dumping on something. And if we're dumping on something and it makes a good short, then it gets a lot of clicks. And so our show is a celebration of tabletop role-playing games, encouraging people to be a part of this hobby, excited that there are so many people playing Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games. And yet the shorts probably aren't the best representation of that. That's just,
I mean, it's
it's
hopefully a way for people to discover the show and then move to the show to see kind of what we're all about.
right.
I think there is a discussion to be had, not a very long discussion, but a discussion to be had about digital versus real dice. Like if I sit down at a table and there's people at the table using digital dice, I'm gonna feel a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to be able to see your dice, even though I play behind a DM screen, which is a totally different topic.
Yeah.
But sort of related. I want the dice rolling thing to be a thing that the table is involved in.
Mm-hmm.
And if you roll a nat 1 or a nat 20 and it's on a digital, iPad while you're physically at a table, there's just less there. It's not that I don't trust real dice versus digital dice. There's no inherent benefit to either. It's more of the experience that we're having as a group.
Yeah. Yeah, and the number of people, like if you go through the comments section of the virtual dice versus real dice short, it's a treasure trove of
interesting comments,
interesting conversations and comments, and half of them I would say are about whether or not computers can actually randomize numbers, which is like not what I'm interested in or talking about at all. That's a different
discussion that has recently been theorized to be solved.
Right.
But that's a totally different.
Like, but the number of people that they're like, yeah, you shouldn't use digital dice because computers can't actually randomize. I'm like, that's not what I'm talking about. So, I've had to, I have joyfully been thinking a lot about this.
Yeah.
Because
it's all in good faith.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been really fun. And the fact that we're getting, like I said, 1,000 views an hour, and it's been doing that for over a week.
I thought for sure that the AI art stuff would get more negative than the digital dice has gotten.
Oh yeah. Well, that one,
which might have to do with when we struck.
Yeah.
The iron was cold when we struck that. So
apparently digital dice are hot. So we got a comment that said, D&D Beyond offers dice for the same price as real dice. It's true. I was just looking at the D&D Beyond has Spelljammer dice right now it's $7. Well, that's how much a set of dice costs in a hobby shop. So some people were trying to make, arguments about cost and stuff like that. And the truth is the dice are free at this cafe. And and digital dice on D&D Beyond are arguably expensive, right? Like, so
I feel like there could be a cost there, but $7 is a bit much. Like, you've got art involved, you've got programming involved, you've got marketing involved, but like that times 2,000 people who buy it,
right?
Like, there's probably a price point where 7 is bad and maybe 2 is good.
Sure,
$1.99 or whatever.
Sure. But so I do the conversation that I want to have to kind of continue the conversation and some of what I think has been the good part of the conversation on the comments section in the YouTube short, is actually about quality of experience.
Sure.
Right, and so I'll speak from the I perspective. I use digital dice when I am playing digitally.
Yes.
Right, and that's because it's native to what I'm doing.
Yeah, you're already there.
So we have a game on Roll20 that's been running for a couple of years, and I use the Roll20 digital dice.
Yep.
And it actually is, it does speed things up. One of the things in our game that we played yesterday, was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was yesterday. I turned my camera off and the sound off for a moment on Zoom because I was eating dinner, and I didn't want you guys to see me filling my face with all with food. So I turned my camera off, turned it off, but it was my turn. We were in the middle of combat. Well, I just clickety,
Yeah, you roll.
and everything kept going, and I'm still, feeding my gob. So it certainly has its place. The thing that I think is weird is rolling digital dice on your phone when you're sitting at a table with people.
Yeah.
And dice are there.
It's a different thing if you don't own dice.
Yeah.
If you don't own dice,
Yep.
use a dice roller or borrow dice. Like, that's fine.
Or if you have this is certainly not meant to be, if there is a reason why dice are a barrier for you, right? That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
We're talking about people who consciously choose that over real dice.
Yes. That seems like putting ketchup on a steak. That's when we're talking about quality of experience. I feel like, yeah, you like it and it tastes good to you, but I also think you're robbing yourself of an experience.
Can I tell you something weird about food that I do?
Yeah.
Which I don't know if is necessarily weird, but it's gotten me a lot of weird looks.
Mm-hmm.
When I eat pizza, I dip my pizza in ketchup.
Like the cheese and stuff.
Yeah.
Not
I just
the crust?
No, I just take a bite. Normally I have French fries too. So
you have a ketchup addiction.
Oh, I do. Yeah, definitely.
okay.
I don't put it on steak or anything weird like that.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube ad where they're talking about Heinz ketchup on spaghetti, which I never got. Like, what is that?
Mm-hmm.
That's a no-no. But pizza, yeah.
I don't know what to do with that. That's okay. You do you. Right?
Okay.
I live and let live.
Just a quick aside.
Okay, if you had New Haven pizza,
Sure.
from Pepe's or Sally's or one of the most famous pizza places, right? I would want you to taste the pizza.
Yeah, I'm not going to do
dip
anything to
it
that.
in,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if you're just getting some Domino's on a Friday night, whatever, right?
But I do think it's weird. It's maybe it is weird, but I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we're playing Roll20, I roll real dice because I don't want my GM dice to be seen. Which I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a setting in Roll20 specifically where you can hide it, so
sure.
only you see the number.
Well, that seems legit. DM can do whatever they want.
Yeah, but if a player is doing it, we have a couple players who do that, and I trust them. That's fine. I trust them to give me numbers.
You can't put digital dice in dice jail when they roll poorly.
That's fair.
That is
You're
exactly
stuck
right.
with that side of
That's
dice.
exactly right. You got to put them in. You got to put them in jail. You're not going to put your phone in jail, right?
Throw it.
No, and it just in terms of the quality of the experience. Okay, so we're all coming out of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we all had, if you remember, before the pandemic, there were a lot of discussions about screen time.
Yeah.
And now we no longer have discussions about
no one
screen
cares about
time
that.
because we're just on screens all the time, right?
YouTube Shorts and TikTok.
Yeah, and we're encouraging people to do that, right, with our channel. It's great. But when you can take a break and do something analog, why not?
Yeah, full stop.
Like that.
Take it all away. I have a game of Vampire, and nobody uses anything digital. And it's weird because it's also a group that I DM for D&D. And sometimes someone will like look up a spell and show me their spell on their phone or whatever. But in Vampire, specifically the same group, never once does a digital device come out. And it does change the way you play the game. And it seems like everybody's a little bit more connected. And everybody's obviously rolling like physical D10s.
Yeah. No, so that's it. Like that's the whole. To me, that's the whole conversation. Like, take a tech break when you can. I mean, okay. So the other thing is, in the back of my mind, right? Playing in person with people around a table in the same room is better. I'm just gonna say it is better than playing on Zoom or Roll20 or whatever. I said it.
I mean, it's just obviously a personal opinion.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I don't enjoy more a Zoom setting or a Discord even, where Discord, I used to do some DM stuff on Discord, where we would be on Roll20 for the game, and then we'd all be talking with voices on Discord, and I couldn't see anyone.
Right.
Like, I feel like I'm just talking to myself and seeing these characters move on the screen, and it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel the same. Like, I play D&D and tabletop games to connect with the people around me and to enjoy a shared experience.
And I'm not saying this, we're not saying this without full knowledge. Like, we have a fantastic online game.
Yeah,
On Roll20.
It moved
once
from
a month.
physical to online.
Moved from physical to online, and then actually people moved.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's a great way to stay connected with some friends that live all over the country. I guarantee you, though, if any one of us could wave a magic wand and we could be in the same room, we'd do it in a second.
We did. When a couple of them visited, we did.
Yeah. Well, and I keep thinking, like, I really want everybody in our group to go to Origins.
Yeah.
And the Tuesday night before the convention starts, it's a great time to go out to dinner. And then actually you're twiddling your thumbs because there's nothing going on Tuesday night.
Yeah, you got to play.
We could play.
Play in the hotel room.
Yeah, play in our hotel room or whatever, or down in the, down in the lobby or whatever. I just don't. And again, from the eye perspective, like, if we could all gather around the table, we would in a heartbeat. And so this is it fills the void, right? Because we can't. It's still a great game, but I think all of us would prefer to be in person. And so that's it. Like, it's all that. Like, I just don't want, I don't know. Like, let's not pretend that, like, technology is always the way to go, or,
I can definitely see the appeal, like, especially if going back to the digital dice versus real dice sort of discussion, there's an appeal to, I only have to bring my iPad. Like, I don't need to lug around my books. I don't need to lug around my dice.
The convenience factor.
I can just come with my iPad.
Yep.
Easy peasy. Which I get. It's totally valid.
Yep.
But if you have the opportunity, just roll some dice.
Well, and so you're helping me with the point, right? It's convenience isn't always better, right? Like, just because something is convenient doesn't mean it's better than the original. I'll give you an old man yelling at a cloud example. That's not tabletop related. I love streaming movies.
Sure.
I love streaming services. I love digital movies. I love having a digital movie collection. It's great. It's a great time to be a television fan. Awesome time. But I miss Friday night, Saturday night, going to a video store for 20 minutes and wandering around.
Seeing what's new, what's featured.
Yeah. So it is much more convenient to be able to just download or watch a movie digitally at home. No question about it, right? But we actually lost something. We gained something. But we also kind of lost something. And we lost something that we didn't realize we were losing.
Yeah.
And actually, at the time, we were all glad. We were like, oh, who the heck wants to go to a video store? That's
Movie gallery.
That's stupid. I can't wait to just
Blockbuster.
be able to watch whatever I want to watch.
Yeah.
You know, and but you know, in hindsight now, it's like, oh, well, it's Friday night. That 15 minutes or whatever, 20 minutes, half an hour in some cases, wandering around, walking down the horror movie aisle, getting freaked out.
That's how I feel about arcades.
Kind of miss it.
I miss arcades.
Yeah.
There's still a couple around us, but they're not nearly the same.
Right. So I kind of feel like, character sheets and books and dice, there are more convenient ways to do it. Doesn't necessarily mean they're better. And you might actually be losing something in the translation.
So if you want that sort of an enthusiasm in something, go to a comic book shop.
Oh, yeah.
I speak from experience as a comic book shop manager.
Yeah.
That's still like one of the pillars of nerd hobbies that are still like thriving. And you can still get people like me who are excited about that stuff that would actively be there for discussion. That you wouldn't get online because people just sort of echo chamber online.
Yep. Had a comment come in that said, basically don't forget about recommendations from the clerk. Right?
Yeah.
So in the video store, you would get recommendations. And I'm sure that's still why people love going to comic book stores, because you're browsing the stacks and you see an enticing cover for something you didn't even know was coming out.
Exactly.
Or the comic book seller is like, oh, you got to check out.
The nerd behind the counter is like, oh, you like Walking Dead? Okay, you'll like this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. Anything else about?
So shorts, we had started just to sort of reel it back a little bit. We had done clips for a bit. We had made maybe half a dozen clips.
Oh yeah, that was an experiment early on.
Which was an experiment of taking chunks of a video, maybe like the Loot the Body section about a particular book, or random encounter about a particular topic, or something sensational there, as maybe like 2 or 3 minute videos. That didn't have nearly the success, and I think that's because of the success of YouTube Shorts. And we're still going to have the regular podcast, the regular YouTube, but we're still going to mine those for shorts, especially and they tend to be topics that everything in the show is topics that we like to talk about.
Yeah.
So the shorts are going to be things that we enjoy as well and want to put in front of people, but there's not everybody in the world's going to watch an hour-long podcast and get everything from it. Maybe they'll watch a couple minutes of it or skip around.
Well, and the shorts are basically like an advertisement.
Yeah, for that particular part.
For that particular episode.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why haven't been getting as much traction on the topic of AI art, because we didn't have any sensational moments where like one of us is like, AI art is right?
Yeah. It wasn't sensational.
Right.
Yeah.
So
we came at it like level-headedly.
Yeah, it was a rational discussion, and so I need to come up with one real quick for a YouTube short. AI art is terrible. So that'll be a short.
Like 3 seconds.
Yeah. Well, so the other thing too about shorts, the appetite for them, like I thought at first, I was like, 10 seconds is the sweet spot.
Sure.
Right? A 10-second short. But actually, are longer shorts that tell a story, like the virtual dice one, are more like almost pushing a minute.
Yeah.
And those people want a story. They just want you to get to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
So I thought at first it was just going to be like nothing but nonstop,
sensational,
bada boom, and
like headline type.
Yeah, headline type stuff. But it's not. It really is looking for a short a story in under 60 seconds. So, all right, I get it.
All right, so we talked about Auroboros.
Yep.
What other things do we have?
Oh, let me
to loot the body.
So.
Or loot the room, as it's here.
Yeah, loot the room.
Loot the room.
Well, that's what I thought.
It's clever. It's clever.
When we're doing it in person, or we're doing it live, we'll call it Loot the Room. So, all right. So
this is insane.
For today's Loot the Room, I've got Weird Frontiers here. Look at this sucker. It is
That's bigger than.
huge.
That's almost the same as both of the books of Ouroboros combined.
All right, so this is the limited edition leather cover. Weird Frontiers is Dungeon Crawl Classics, but Cthulhu meets the Wild West. Right? If you're familiar with Deadlands, right? Think Deadlands, which was a role-playing game in the 90s. It also had a conversion to Savage Worlds.
Okay.
But it's a supernatural Wild West, right?
That seems really sweet.
Yeah, and if you look here, if you can see in the video here, in the spine, there's a number of black pages. Those are all spells. All the black pages are the spells.
It's like 45% of the book.
The creator of this game already said when they do a reprint, it's going to be at least 2 books. They're not going to do another. They're not going to do an edition that is like this. A reprint.
That'll break your shelf.
Like this again. Yeah.
That's insane.
Here's the. I'm a nut, so I got both covers.
Both covers.
Here's the regular cover, too, and you can see the Cthulhu guy a little bit better there. But I am so psyched about this because it's Dungeon Crawl Classics, but just a different setting.
Yeah, and you could
different
just
classes.
You could just take the spells from it. You could take the 0 level from it.
Yeah, there's a funnel in the back that you can run. Looks like there's about 5 adventures right now on Drive-Thru RPG, so it's got the support it needs to stay afloat. Goodman Games is selling it on their website. I don't think the code. I don't think it's a part of the sale.
Oh sure.
But
Yeah, printing something that big, I don't know if you want to discount it too hard.
yeah, but so that one not this shouldn't come as a surprise. I'm still reading that book.
Sure.
I just got it. But that's going to be a future Loot the Body, I think, at some point. I also had an opportunity. I went to MeepaCon, the Mid-Eastern Pennsylvania convention, and I met the Greyhawk Grognard, which if you want to see a selfie of me and the Greyhawk Grognard, it's on Instagram, I think is where I posted it. I got to nerd out, meeting a fellow YouTube guy that I like. But he just came out with Swords of Cthulhu, which is for his Adventures Dark and Deep line, AD&D. See what they did there?
I see.
Right? This guy's no dummy, right? And it is for first edition Dungeons and Dragons. It's even got a nice orange spine. You gotta love that. And so this is a supplement, Cthulhu Mythos, for AD&D.
Yeah, I paged through that. It looks very AD&D.
Yep.
A lot of cool tables and cool art.
Yeah, the layout is exactly like an AD&D book. It feels right at home with that. So there's a couple classes in here, like a cultist and stuff like that. Not really. They could be player classes, but they feel more like NPCs. But this is a pretty exciting thing, and I'd love Joseph Bloch. I'd love to interview him, the Greyhawk Grognard, because we haven't.
Or see him at the next MeepaCon. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe see him at the next MeepaCon. But we haven't had an episode talking about AD&D, so I'd love to go back and have an episode about AD&D. So that would be fun. The other thing I'm hoping to do. Show one more show and tell. If you get a chance, definitely check out our episode on AI art. And if you look at the comments section for that, one of my favorite tabletop role-playing game artists is actually a fan of the show, which is incredibly flattering. But also made a wonderful glowing comment on our episode on AI art, and said it was just, it was a nice even-handed discussion exploring both sides, and he was very honest about where he is with AI art. But so the artist is JP Coovert, and I have been fortunate enough to be backing him on Patreon since the very beginning, and he recently finished his Dragontown line. Kind of came to a conclusion with 10 issues. Flik Silverpen is what they're all called. Flik Silverpen's Guide to. So the first one was Flik Silverpen's Guide to Dragontown.
Aptly named.
Fantastic. If you're just going to pick up one, get that. These are all, by the way, system neutral adventures. You could use them for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, Old School Essentials, 5th edition, you name it. But right here's The Emperor of Worms. This was number 2. The Plum Wax Kobolds. I love his art so much. It's so wonderfully cartoony and minimalist and joyful. Shadespeare Mountains. The City of Eternal Night. Which
Whoa.
the cover would suggest it's much... Or the title would suggest it's much scarier than the
Yeah,
cover.
yeah.
Flik Silverpen's Guide to Red Growth. Ooh, some scary fungus. Errant Tower was the next one in the series. Fiery Caldera. Flik Silverpen's Guide to the Sky Garden.
Can you...
Number 9.
Can you get these, like, now?
Oh, yeah. The last one then in the adventure series is Flik Silverpen's Guide to the Darkness Below. So this was number 10 that finished off.
Sounds like
the
an
series.
underwater adventure.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I'm not playing that.
And then there were Flik Silverpen's Guide to Unscrupulous Emporiums and Exploring Dungeons. Those are just kind of like supplements to enhance if you're going to be playing through all 10 adventures. JP Coovert shared with me that if you're not a crazy collector and you don't mind waiting, it is going to be collected in a book,
Nice.
all of it, coming soon.
Nice.
But it's the artwork is incredible. I'm hopeful we can have JP Coovert on the show.
Yeah.
In the new year.
That'd be fun.
But I wanted to share one last thing, and I shared this on Instagram right around the holidays. But the latest release from JP Coovert is actually a hack of a game called Tunnel Goons, and this is Goons and Ghosts. And so it is a Ghostbusters role-playing game using the Tunnel Goons system, which is a super awesome rules light system. And having just played recently at a convention this summer, the D6 West End Games Ghostbusters game, I think this gets to the flavor of it without a lot of the hassle. And so I would highly recommend this if you're a Ghostbusters fan. Go to jpcoovert.com and check out Goons and Ghosts. You will not regret it. And Tunnel Goons is a new fantasy minimalist role-playing game that I'm pretty excited about, and that may make its way to the table at some point as well.
We've got a whole nother year to fill.
We've got a whole nother year to fill. So what are you, Jesse? What are you hoping for? For year 2 of every edition.
Well, we had talked. I don't know if we have. We definitely don't have it solidified. I think enough to talk about it in too much detail, but I do want to add a new section to the podcast.
A new feature.
Yeah.
Segment.
Segment. Yeah, I like the format that we have, but year 2, shake it up a little bit. Don't get too comfy. Try out new things. I definitely want to dive into more fantasy that's not Dungeons and Dragons. So like Castles and Crusade. Forbidden Lands, that's a big one. Yeah. The One Ring again. More fantasy stuff. I think that might be it.
Well, and horror, noir.
Oh,
type
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I really the core game that we haven't touched yet, that we owe it to ourselves.
Call of Cthulhu.
It's Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
And so I would say in looking at the next year, Vaesen and Call of Cthulhu are probably at the top of the list.
Yeah, I think so.
And then as soon as Mothership comes out, I want that to come to the table. Like those are the games that I'm most excited about. And then starting to in year 2, I've really enjoyed our interviews.
Yeah, definitely more interviews.
More interviews.
I think I'd be okay with just uploading interviews by themselves if it meant that we could get more in, or if it became such a popular thing that people like listening to interviews. Just doing like a separate interview podcast would be pretty interesting if we could get more.
Yeah,
because I like talking to people, especially other sort of nerds of this industry, like figureheads in the industry.
Yeah,
big pillars. I have a pipe dream that we'll eventually talk to Mike Pondsmith, who is the
sounds fun.
original creator of Cyberpunk.
Okay,
which would be fantastic. I'd be like annoying. I'd be an annoying interviewer.
Be a groupie.
Yeah. This guy created so much of like how I identify, so it would be annoying.
Well, so let's talk as we're actually in the last
wrapping
15 minutes or so here, wrapping up. Let's talk about the future of the show and some updates.
Sure.
So our next episode, or I should say, not necessarily our next episode, but a future episode in December that we're going to be recording is we're going to be interviewing James Floyd Kelly, who is the creator of the Delver zine.
Yes.
For Old School Essentials. So I'm really excited to interview him. Again, somebody that I've been backing on Patreon and following his works on Kickstarter. I love Delver. It's a fantastic zine.
Yeah.
Basically just random tables. And it's great. It's awesome. So I can't wait to have him on the show and to hear about the future of Delver and the future of what he's got going. Delver issue 6 is going to be coming out in the new year, and we actually have an ad.
Yes, we will have an advertisement.
Yeah, and so we're going to be having, in addition to an ad running in issue 6 for the show, we're going to have some kind of giveaway because we're going to have all these copies of Delver 6 that we're going to be able to give away. So stay tuned for some type of contest or giveaway where we'll be able to get some copies of Delver into your hands. Excited about that. If you want to see what the print ad looks like, it's a black and white ad. I actually shared it already on Instagram.
Very minimal.
Very minimal. It's got
I dig it.
Like a dictionary type theme.
Yeah.
So you can check that out. We do have our merch is up and running. So we've got t-shirts and canvas bags and mugs and all that kind of stuff. So if you're looking for a super nerdy gift for somebody during the holiday season, why not adorn them with every edition garb?
I think maybe, I don't know if this is a thing that we could do for year 2, but maybe in the 2.5-3 range, I'd like to do like maybe a seasonal, like limited time shirt where we maybe hire an artist that is like in the tabletop space to make something every edition, but like themed. Like it'd be really cool to have some dungeon crawl or like AD&D style art that's like relative to every edition.
Oh, I like that.
Something to excite the merch a bit.
I know an artist too. I do. Pretty cool guy. That sounds great. So what else is going on with every edition? Well, we've got
we talked about Mastodon.
Right. Yep. So we're on Mastodon now, which for those of you that are fleeing Twitter, that seems to be where the tabletop role-playing game creators and lovers seem to be coalescing. So it's the server that everybody is on right now is called Dice Camp. So I would encourage you to check out the server Dice Camp, and you'll find every edition there. It's pretty chill at this point. It really is. You start a topic, and people that want to talk about it will talk about it, and it's very calm. It doesn't have that same sort of, like Twitter has that sort of like self-promo, I'm trying to sell stuff like all the time feel.
Trying to get as many followers as you can. Interactions.
And Mastodon is more like, well, if you don't have anything to say, just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Like it has that kind of feel, which I appreciate. It's a little bit more chill of a social media platform. So you can find us on Mastodon. That's brand new and very exciting. We also have become an Amazon affiliate.
Yes.
So every single one of our episodes on YouTube now has affiliate links at no cost to you. If you click on one of our affiliate links, it sends a couple bucks our way if you make a purchase. So if you're going to be buying any tabletop role-playing game stuff, either Black Friday deals or holiday gift giving or what have you, and it happens to be, it happens to be a topic of one of our shows, or even not.
Yeah, so
just click on the affiliate link.
So if this is a bit nuanced, but we had done the Dune special edition, went on sale on Amazon, and you made a post about it with our affiliate link. And all it does is, it doesn't change anything about the price, doesn't do anything. It just says that every time you buy something with this link, we get a little bit of a kickback, so it's a way to help support the show for free. But it goes for anything that you do on Amazon.
Right.
So, if there's something that you're like, hey, I'm going to pick this up on Amazon, get me an affiliate link to it, like we can do that.
Yeah. And it helps out the show at no cost to you. So please consider doing that. Last thing that's new for us, we did start a Ko-Fi, which is an opportunity to buy us a cup of coffee or give us a tip. And Ko-Fi wants you to have some kind of goal. So I loaded in a goal that we would love to have some new chairs.
I think that's a good goal.
Yeah. So
this thing's a bit squeaky.
Yeah, we've got 2 squeaky old chairs that we're sitting on. And we wouldn't mind having some nice new chairs. So if you drop a tip in our Ko-Fi, it'll go directly to Jesse and I being able to have some new chairs.
Some comfy butts.
Some comfy butts. That's right.
We record for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And only get, like 30 minutes or 40 minutes worth of it, like actual content.
Right.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
What else we got
for
here?
updates? For updates, I mean.
That's it for updates. Yeah.
We talked about Dune.
Talked about Dune.
I think that might be it. I think this has been super fun. Oh, do we want to talk about the audio only?
Oh, sure. Yeah. So go ahead.
So we did this in celebration of 1 year of every edition as a special edition for the YouTube viewers, the people who watch the show. So we're also going to do a special edition thing for people who listen to the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. That's going to be our first minimal toe dip into live play.
Real play, yeah.
Real play, yeah.
Actual play. I don't know.
Actual. One of those.
One of those.
We're going to be playing, and you're going to be listening. We're going to run through. So we had found a table that we had talked about a couple times of what to roll. You roll on a table where your character's been if you missed a session or missed a couple sessions. And there's some good options there that I took, and we're going to find out what John's character Bucket had been up to in the 2 sessions-ish that he missed in our campaign.
So I'm playing a Life Cleric Warforged. I've never played a Warforged before, so this is new to me. And in the real world, August and September are really hard months for me.
Yeah.
So I missed a couple sessions of our game, and so we're going to do a one-shot, one-on-one.
Yeah, I think it's maybe going to be 20 minutes, half an hour maybe.
Yeah. But it'll be just for our podcast listeners on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be an exclusive opportunity for us to try out real play. And if we like it, well, then there's always the possibility that we decide to expand. Again, we're not afraid to try new things.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's what's exciting to me about this. And this was my first live stream. I really liked it. This isn't that bad.
Yeah, you kind of get in your own head about stuff.
Yeah.
I always tell people when they're like, "Oh, how'd you start streaming?" or "How do you start streaming?" And the biggest is just hit the go live button.
Yeah.
Hit the button, do it live. Get over that initial sort of thoughts about what you might think that it is. And I could see us doing this maybe every now and then. Maybe not a super regular thing, but something that we schedule and let the community know that, hey, this is happening. We can have some special topics or even potentially interviews. Could be fun.
Yeah. So with that, if you have any questions for us, please drop them in the comments.
Send us an email.
You can send us a note. Yeah, everyeditionrpg@gmail.com. Everything for every edition is every edition RPG. So everyeditionrpg.com, everyeditionrpg@gmail.com, facebook.com/everyeditionrpg, youtube.com/everyeditionrpg. Everything is Every Edition RPG. Our Mastodon, all of that.
Yeah.
We got a couple comments here. Just subscribed a week ago. Great channel. Our group will be breaking out TSR Marvel. Oh, cool.
So have you seen our episode on the Marvel tabletop game?
Yeah, we did a play test of the new Marvel game.
Yeah.
And shared our thoughts about that. I know, and talked a little bit about the support that's still out there for the TSR Marvel game.
Yeah.
There's actually a couple clones for the TSR Marvel game. So if you want to play that game but don't want to pay eBay prices, there are other ways to get at that game. But that's exciting. That's cool. That's the one. It's a color-coded chart. That sort of resolves your actions and stuff like that. So very exciting. Very cool that you're doing that. What else we got here?
Yeah,
Warforged can be fun if you go the robot aspect of it, where you are a literal automation awaiting orders. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing.
We can get into a little bit about what Bucket is further in the audio. But give us a little background on Bucket.
Yeah, so Bucket's a life cleric. He is a pacifist. Because he was involved in a war and did a lot of horrific things, and now is trying to atone. And so I'm a pacifist in the party. I'm really trying to figure out how to be a pacifist without being annoying. Like that's
wait, don't kill that guy.
Yeah, which is also kind of part of the fun, like, and trying to navigate that. And I think that's all I want to say at this point. I'll save it for the podcast when we do our first actual play or our first real play. But definitely doing the what you said, kind of a little bit more of an automaton, kind of angle.
Yeah, consciousness or no emotion, kind of.
I am not familiar with Everyone is John. What is that? Is that's a tabletop role playing game?
That kind of sounds like.
I'm not familiar with it, but I'll check it out.
It
sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. Well, really appreciate everybody being here.
Yeah, this has been fantastic.
Awesome turnout.
It's been fun.
And hey, here's to year 2.
Year 2, second edition of every edition. I've been waiting for that.
The second edition.
The second edition.
That's right.
A-E-N-E.
And so we'll leave you with this. Roll real dice.
Roll real dice. Come on. Even if you're at a digital table, roll real dice.
And actually, I don't care. So.
All right. Well, have a good night, everybody. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah, thanks a lot.